All right, we're back right here. This is Around Midnight, Mixified Media Solutions Around Midnight in Mixified Media Solutions Studio A. You've got the local boys here to entertain you. I am Joe Carbonetta. Again, I've got Chevelle Devine.
Oh, is it open now?
Yeah, what are you doing? And Todd Fluker over there.
I was going to talk, but you got my mic closed.
That's because I was still doing the intro.
Yeah, I'm going to make it awkward for you every time. It's just going to be more awkward because now we're going to have to explain why people couldn't hear me and why. Yeah, so.
They don't want to hear you anyway.
It's a whole thing.
It's a subversion thing.
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, what are you doing over there anyway?
Facebooking?
Turn my headphones up.
Oh, okay. All right. So, moving on. You guys were having a discussion earlier about big kids. And basically the fact that nobody grows up anymore.
Yep.
And I'm kind of curious to know your insights on this. So what you feel is to blame for these... I can't just call them man-children because that term sounds funny, but it isn't just the men. I believe you were suggesting that this is
I think it's
across the board
and
situation.
Yeah. And it affects different demographics differently because you have, everything from the trust fund baby to the entitled activists. They all it's all the same beast.
Todd, did you stop using that blow dryer?
That thing is loud.
Yeah.
There's
I
that.
need to blow that thing out.
Okay. Anyway.
That's where I hide the drugs. In the laptop.
That is a big laptop.
It still works, but it's got all the horses in here.
What is he talking about?
He's a big kid. Who knows?
Okay. You were saying.
Well, I was thinking because you don't hear about it quite as much nowadays, but they always talk about the greatest generation, the people who fought World War II, went through the Depression and all that other kind of stuff, and they just were amazing human beings, the best generation America ever produced, right?
Okay. Then
they had babies. Those were your baby boomers, and that is primarily where your yuppies and everybody came from. They started out as hippies. A lot of them ended up as yuppies. So they were rebelling against everything that the great generation stood for, and then went off and found out money was not so bad, got rich, and bought all kinds of toys. So one of the things that I'm thinking, and I may be totally wrong on this, but
maybe
I doubt it, but I will open up the possibility.
Possible.
It's not really even possible, but we'll run with that premise. But like people,
it's not probable.
It comes down to selfishness, so I definitely include myself in this group because I'm a pretty selfish guy. But people don't share information and they don't share resources. So you have adults that never really got a chance to kind of take on any real responsibility for like family obligations because the parents were so busy holding on to all the toys and all the resources, and they're trying to manage the lives of their adult children. So these adults never really get to become adults. Next thing you know, you're like 60 years old before your parent finally dies because people are living longer now.
By the way, these adults that were controlling everything, were these the adults that let their kids believe in Santa Claus or the ones that took it away?
Bro, like I said, it covers the spectrum, but the ones that believe in Santa Claus are the worst of the lot.
Is
so
that
long story
so?
short, yes, because
they're the worst.
They're the worst because they still believe everything's going to be okay. Look, folks, everything is not going to be okay. It's going to get pretty bad, okay? That's true. So my point is this. People have not learned how to take responsibility, and they've started to invent technology to do the things that people used to do. Like you can have machines and everything just cook food. Everything's on timers. Everything's instant. And like credit is a huge thing that makes people think that they can live way beyond their means.
So
there's a whole lot of different
you're saying
directions to
that
go.
the microwave and the timer that they put on a coffee maker is destroyed society. Is that where you're going with this?
Well, let's think about this. The fact that you could just walk into a store and get anything you want is something that's pretty unique to, let's say, Western civilization in general, but there is definitely a uniquely American experience when it comes to how it is you expect your quality of life to be. There are things that we take way for granted that would never fly in other
remember when
communities.
fruit used to go out of season?
Yeah. You had to wait till summer to get a watermelon.
Yeah, but genetic engineering took care of that.
No, globalization took care of that. Because if you go to the store today and buy an avocado, it's going to come from South America or Mexico. And what is it? What's the name of that city? Fallbrook. Fallbrook is the avocado capital of the U.S.
Are we going to try to take a phone call? Shall we
sure, why
see if
not?
there's somebody on the?
calling?
Let's see if we can take a phone
I
call.
don't know if we have that capability.
It's probably some big kid.
Hey, this is around midnight with the local boys. Is anybody there?
Hey,
Did you hook it up right?
Is
hey,
that-
what's happening?
Is that Kevin?
You know it is.
Kevin, how are you doing?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Hey, I want to comment on something. I'm not sure how long the delay is, so you may have moved off of this topic right now. We're just talking about, I don't know, people that seem to have no responsibility.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Big
No, we're still
kids.
talking about that for sure.
Oh, okay. Of course, now I'm so busy looking at the screen, I completely lost my point. The mind goes first.
Let me call these young whippersnappers. Tell them a thing or two.
No. I remember. Okay, Joe, you know me. I've been an electronic repairman for a lot of my life. So when I first started out repairing stuff, I worked in a shop where there'd be all this stuff left behind, and at the time, one of the things we get left behind was like answering machines. So my dad, I was always trying to get Dad into getting like an answering machine, a microwave, anything, right?
Okay.
So I would, I'd bring him over to answering machine, for free. That somebody left behind, I fixed it, brought over. Hey, Dad, here's this answering machine. I get something a little bit older, so it wasn't quite so challenging and intimidating to him from a user level. And he would never take it; just wasn't going to happen. But it was interesting because his argument was always, "Well, what do I?" It always started the same thing. What do I need that for? Well, when you're not home, it can take your message. He's like, everybody knows me. If I'm not home, I'm not home. Call me back. You know when I'll be around.
And that's something that people
Everything
just
was-
don't get today. They don't understand the concept
No,
of not being able to reach somebody.
Absolutely. Dad was not about that. I mean, there was another time where I tried to give him a microwave. And again, what do I need that for? Well, Dad, you live by yourself. You reheat food. You reheat food fast. Tom was always saying, I ain't in no rush. I don't mind.
So-
He had this like toaster oven that was like the fire hazard from hell.
Like, say
He's
it's
like,
9
put it in
p.m.
my toaster oven, let it work. I mean, patience was his thing.
So did he ever own a mobile phone? Just out of curiosity.
Toward the end of Dad's life, my brother got him to get a mobile phone, and he only took it after he had had a health scare. And then he realized, okay, I probably need to be able to get a hold of people at a moment's notice. So my brother found this phone that I don't know who made it, but you could blow up the text so big where the font just looked like a building. It's huge. That way Dad could kind of make it out.
The
Right?
jitterbug?
Is that phone? Yeah.
That's the phone for old people.
I like that phone. They have that one
they
where the
have
numbers were like that big on it. Yeah. That probably looks
It
really
was
small on the TV.
unbelievable. I would look at this thing and it was like, whoa, is that a word? Is that a letter? Is it a building? What is it? But yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, lastly, I remember one of my, I had a conversation with Dad once where he was talking about my brother. And he says, I don't understand why your brother, gets his kids these cell phones. And I'm like, well, Dad, that way if they're running late or, something happens, they can contact him. And that way he always knows where he was. And Dad says, looks me straight in the eye and says, you didn't have none of that, and I always knew where you were. So I told you to be.
Yes.
And that's an interesting argument.
Yeah.
I was like, well, yeah, that's true. He always knew where we were.
You know what we got to do? We got to get Kevin to call in every week with one of his dad stories. That would be awesome.
Oh, man. There's like a Twitter feed or a YouTube channel just dad stories.
Oh, I do recall. Wasn't there was something online about
Stupid
they made a
something my
show.
dad says,
They made a show out of it for a short period of time, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, that was that
Yeah,
William
yeah.
Shatner show. I think
That would have worked if they, and don't get me wrong, I love William Shatner, but that would have worked if they had got Jerry Stiller.
yeah.
I think that's his name. Ben Stiller's dad?
Yeah,
Jerry,
yeah.
Yeah, he's
They
an
needed
interesting
somebody with a little more edge, a little more rage, and almost need to be on HBO so he could get, or one of the
non-scared
non-terrestrial
TV
outlets.
shows, TV channels.
yeah,
Everybody's
well,
like
that-
scared to do real
yeah.
TV these days.
Exactly. That way you can kind of come out and say stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love William Shatner, but William Shatner, he's a nice guy. He needs somebody that's like a
He's
little
too
grumpy
nice.
around the edges. Yeah.
Yeah.
But even when he's being rough, he's still very guarded about what he talks about.
True.
He doesn't get too carried
True.
away. His Twitter feed is funny though. He says some interesting things.
Wasn't he a Twitter
I've
feed with
never-
like Omarosa or somebody?
I think so.
Yeah. He's always beefing with somebody. And then I heard he was like beefing with somebody from The Bachelor. He like watches The Bachelor and tweets about it, apparently.
I'm sorry.
And he was tweeting at the people, and he was beefing with them.
Yeah.
I guess, when you're getting on there in years, you got a lot of time on your hands.
Yeah, he's a big kid. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, no more responsibilities.
There you go.
So you agree then, Kevin, that we have created a generation of overgrown children?
Well, absolutely. The whole thing was okay. I think we're so busy loving and coddling our children, we forget our role as parents is to teach them how to make it on their own.
Yeah.
Well, so
Not how to deal with when things don't go good.
This comes back to a topic we've discussed before, this whole concept of everybody gets a trophy and, everybody wins all the time.
And believing in Santa Claus and Easter
Again
Bunny.
with the Santa Claus
I'm saying, you guys are lying to your kids. You need to cut that crap out.
You know what? There's nothing wrong with believing in Santa Claus when you're 5 years old.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is.
5. I still believe in Santa Claus.
See? That's the kind of problem I'm talking about.
Now, Kevin, you just lost
That's
all your
what I'm
credibility
talking
because
about.
Chevelle believes you're part of the problem now and not the solution.
Unacceptable.
He seems like a perfectly,
No.
generally
You know what?
well-adjusted
I
person.
know Kevin. I've worked with him many years, and yes, he's a very down to earth.
Oh, no, dude.
That's in fact that's his middle name is Kevin Down to Earth, and then
And then his last name.
and then his last name.
Absolutely.
Jenkins.
There it is. No, I mean, we just we coddle kids too much, and then everyone gets a trophy. My dad, nothing with Dad. Dad used to always say, in life, as in school, some people are bigger, some people are taller, some people have more or less money, some people are better looking. If I lie to you now, you're going to walk out into the real world and get a big surprise.
Yep.
So let's just be honest straight across the board. And one man's opinion, when you raise kids that way, it's an easier transition into the real world. That's what happens.
Yeah.
I think so many people think that they get their way and they want this and they want that.
And then when they don't
and then
get
they
it,
get on their own.
they go out and try and blow up the Sam's Club.
Well, and I think when you take that idea and then you transpose it onto a global world where the people who live that life are uniquely...
A global world?
Yeah, well, okay, that's kind of redundant.
Yeah,
I'll give you that. No, but just like the global mindset. Because you have all these people in other countries who don't have the luxury of that experience. They don't have the luxury of everybody getting a trophy. They don't have the luxury of getting a meal sometimes. And they're fighting to get to
the
a
luxury
country
of
like...
a peanut allergy.
Yeah, can you imagine? You live in the one country where the U.S. has nothing but peanuts growing and you're allergic? So you have these people, and I'm telling you, when it all goes down, Americans are going to be over there like, hey, we can all play. And like, no, we can't play.
Oh, I can't eat any of that gluten.
I'm not going to let you take your ball and go home. I'm taking your ball, and I'm taking your home. And America's not going to be able to handle it. America's not going to be ready because we got a bunch of people who just don't know how to speak, to stand up for themselves, and make any real
I don't know if he
connection.
should be complaining about people not being able to speak after the last show where he was fumbling over every word.
I was so enraged.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
It was the
if I get
rage.
See, here's the thing.
Taking over.
If I lose control when I get mad, I have to guard the words that come out of my mouth because rage does a weird thing to my vocabulary, and I say things that I might mean, but I don't necessarily need to say.
I see.
So
I definitely mean
Believe me
that.
when I say I understand.
yeah. You know.
Yeah.
Especially
I gotta work on that filter.
Yeah.
So, like, these days, it seems like they're taking more and more general responsibilities off of people's plates.
Yeah.
And that is, it doesn't seem to be doing them a service by having companies that will literally bring whatever you need to your doorstep. You never
don't have to leave your
your
Or you
house.
mean like having a robotic vacuum that actually cleans the house sort of for you?
Ew. Who likes vacuuming?
I don't mind it. I don't do it, but I don't mind it.
See, I'm old school. I mean, I'm okay. Don't get me wrong. I see the brilliance in certain products that I would never get for myself, like the whole Nest thing when it came out with that thermometer.
Yeah. I can't do
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I'm okay, not knocking it, but it's like, you know what? I think I can adjust the heat in my own home. I mean, it's at some point you gotta be able to do like some basic stuff. stuff.
So do you
Yeah,
have
again?
Kev? Do you have one of those Alexas or
Alexa Silver.
Yeah, or the Alexa Silver, even
I don't know about
any
that.
of those. I mean, what's the competing one? There's Alexa. There's
Google Home or something
something like that. Do you have one of those devices?
No.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, because if you have one, you're halfway there already.
Yeah.
No. And again, to each his own. I'm not knocking it. From a technology standpoint, as a technology person, I think they're brilliant devices. I find them very interesting. But for me, it's like there's certain things I can just do on my own.
Yeah.
Well, you know the thing the thing that amazes me about that is that they're trying to sell you basically a second one, because the reality is every one of us already has one in their home. In fact, we probably have several. If you have a mobile phone in your possession right now, you've already got one of these devices in your home.
Yep. But you don't have enough. See, they got to be able to listen to you wherever you are, even when you're not wanting them to.
Well, Kelly's piping up on the Facebook Live chat. She says, I guess she's talking about how, kids these days growing up soft.
They
you know,
are.
a lot of
Just
she
playing
says,
video games all the time.
yeah, she says,
I think she's talking specifically about you.
when I see my toddler when she falls, I kind of wait to see how she reacts to see if she can handle it herself. But other people jump in and model coddle her.
Yeah.
Model coddle?
I don't know. That's
more severe than just normal coddle.
what's a model coddle?
I've never heard
I'm
model
going to try and
coddle.
look up model coddle.
But yeah, I think I've seen that with our daughter. Yeah, I mean, we generally, if she falls down, we're like, hey,
Yeah, I mean,
Pick
you
yourself
see
back
that
up.
every time
Come
you go
on.
to the grocery store and you have that one kid spazzing out in aisle 7 because they can't get the Oreos they want.
can't get the
That's
Count,
the kid
Count
that's being
Chocula.
told they can have whatever they want. And they learn, when you give them whatever they want, if they act stupid enough, they learn that acting stupid gets them what they want. Now, just go watch any one of these protests you see on TV. Every one of
You
those
ever
kids
watch
grows
the
up to be a
Ray
member of
Charles?
Antifa.
What's that? Did you ever watch what?
Sorry. Sorry about that. I delayed for a word. You ever watch the Ray Charles movie? The scene where Ray, as a child, is basically lost his eyesight.
Right.
He comes running in the house, and he falls on his face, and his mother stands back and pretends like she's not there. Even though it's breaking her heart,
Yeah.
she like,
She
yeah,
knows
that's-
he's got to learn it.
that's
That's powerful.
that's my mom and every one of my aunts in that scene.
Everyone.
It's like they love you to death, but it's like, you know what? You got to figure this out.
Yep.
Because I'm not going to be here forever. And even if I was, you got to figure this out.
Yep.
You know, I mean, I think that's just part of, again, it's your role as a parent. I think you're supposed to be able to guide your kids smoothly into adulthood without it being like this horrific shock on their system.
On a total side note here, Todd, going back to what you were discussing a second ago, I can't find anything for model coddle, but I did find molly coddle.
Molly, maybe it was a typo.
Maybe it was a typo. Molly coddle is to be overprotective and indulgent toward whatever.
How's that different from regular coddling?
I'm not
Isn't that-
sure.
that's just
like
coddling.
Yeah, isn't that like uber coddle? I don't know.
Uber coddle.
I think that involves barbed wire.
So molly coddle is apparently the opposite of molly wop.
Yeah.
Exact opposite.
Anywho.
They're antonyms.
But yeah, I've heard people talking on.
Well,
I have to look it up to see what the name of the scientist is. But yeah, there was a guy, he was talking on a podcast I was listening to about how you have to let children, and to a certain extent he also included older adults in like assisted living quarters and stuff like that. You can't do for them what they can do for themselves because you're not doing them a service. You're taking responsibilities away from them, and then they're just learning that they don't have to do for themselves.
So basically, you're creating Cardassians.
No, Kardashians. Kardashians are the aliens from Deep Space.
Oh, you're right. Okay, my bad.
Kardashians.
I mean, they're
Kardashians.
probably
yeah.
interchangeable, but just for clarification, I don't want people thinking that they should hate Kardashians. It's the Kardashians you want.
I didn't know you were a Trek fan.
Oh man.
Oh, okay.
The
Anyway.
Kardashians were pretty lit with the Bajorans. You know, they had that whole conflict over. And the fact that they're semi-related to the Vulcans.
What did he say?
Yeah.
What the hell are you talking about?
It's a very complicated thing. I wouldn't expect you to understand. Anywho,
Okay, here's a weird one.
Okay.
Here's a weird question, and this is going back to creating a disservice by doing things for someone.
Okay.
Okay. My car is like before the, you know how everyone's, all the newer cars have that screen in the middle, so when you back up, pow, you can see where you're backing up.
Yeah,
I don't have
that's
that.
that's
My
a different.
question-
That's a peeve of mine. All on a different. That's a different discussion right there. But anyway,
Here's my question: when you get in a car like that, be it a rental or whatever, and you shift in reverse and you see that camera come on, do you turn around and do you look anyway?
I do.
I do, but. See, I was raised with a different mindset in general. It used to be that cars were designed and then they were engineered, okay? Some designer would say, oh, hey, this would look really cool. And then it would go off to the engineering department, and the engineers would look at it and go, well, that might look cool, but it's not functional. And form's got to follow function. You still have to be able to drive this thing. And now I can't see what I'm doing here, and I'm going to kill somebody. So we're going to change this a little bit, and we're going to, make this window a little bit bigger. We're going to drop that down just a little bit, and then you can actually operate this motor vehicle in a safe fashion. Okay, somewhere along the line, and I think it happened with the Pontiac Aztec. I think this is the thing that did it, okay? Because Pontiac, the designers of Pontiac had this fantastic car that they planned to build, okay? And they designed it. And then it went to the engineering department, and the engineering department said, what the hell is that? Nobody can drive that thing. We're going to have to change this. We're going to have to change that. And what came out was something that the general public was not ready for. They decided it was butt ugly, and nobody bought it. Now, here's the funniest part about it, okay? Flash forward 10 years, and somebody else, Toyota, Honda, doesn't matter, pick one. They took it, put some slightly bigger wheels on it, called it an SUV, created a new segment. Now everybody's got to have one. Yeah. But when it was the Pontiac Aztec, it was the ugliest thing in the world. So when that happened, auto manufacturers decided, you know what, we're going to do away with the engineering department. We're just going to design things now. And then somebody will have to figure out how to make it work the way we designed it. Not make it work,
and
just make it work the way we designed it.
That's one of,
enter the backup camera.
That's one of the reasons I don't like the design of most cars, actually, because the doors look so huge on cars, and they got this little sliver of a window.
Yeah,
I hate that.
You remember back in the what was it, the 50s when they would do the chop tops, and that was illegal then, but now it's legal. Now so
I don't like it.
Enter the backup camera, enter the side collision warning, enter all this because you can no longer actually drive a vehicle by sight. You actually have to have all of this electronic gizmo, or you're going to wrap the car around the first pole in a parking lot you find.
Yeah.
Don't forget stuff breaking.
Oh, yeah, right, because you can't see the pedestrians anymore either.
Man.
But we can see how well that worked out for Uber.
Yeah, I don't like all that stuff. And that goes back to the very beginning of the whole discussion. It's like you're taking away people's responsibility. They can blame anything or anybody else for anything that goes wrong because the car was supposed to stop itself. It wasn't supposed to plow up underneath the semi.
I'm not feeling the self-driving car.
I don't like them. I don't like them.
Like I said, my version.
Me being a controller.
You know what I call in my day? You know what we called a self-driving car? A bus. That's what we called a self-driving car. You got in, you paid the fare, you sat down in a seat, somebody else did the driving for you.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll do a self-driving car. Here's my thing. Either you drive or I drive, not a little bit of each. If you're going to drive, then I'm going to go in the back seat and get a nap. If I'm going to drive, then no self-braking, no any of that. Drive.
Well, you know what? When I will be cool with the self-driving car is when the Night 2000 shows up, all right? When the thing can have a full-on conversation with me while we're driving down the road and actually hit the turbo boost and pop me out the T-top, that's when I'll take the self-driving car.
When you can fire up Civil Pursuit mode.
Exactly. Super Pursuit, yeah.
I always said Civil Pursuit.
I don't know why
I always say that. Civil. It always sounded weird when I heard it, too.
Yeah.
You got the little vents that pop out on the side.
But see, the problem with that was about the time they were getting ready to jump the shark with that when they added that little feature. But anyway, that's when I'll be cool with a self-driving car.
Yeah,
I'll change my name to Michael even.
I'd rather have a car. He had more personality.
I'm sorry. What did the Civil Pursuit mode do?
No, it was Super Pursuit mode.
Because Pursuit mode's not good enough.
Yeah, that's when the little rocket things popped out of the side of the car.
What did it do?
Because it's in its original design.
Turbo.
Yeah, right. In its original design, it could already do 300 miles an hour, but it needed to go even faster.
Yeah, for cornering. I don't know.
I was
It
more.
looked cool and sold a couple more boxes of Cheerios.
You see how we digress, Kevin? Now we've suddenly started talking
Yeah.
about Knight Rider from.
I never saw that
Yeah,
show.
nobody knows what we're talking about
I know.
right now.
I was more into
It's like
Night Boat.
Night Boat.
Me?
Boat.
Yeah, Night Boat.
You.
Oh man.
Incorrect, Michael. There's a canal.
Okay. Anyway,
Well, Kevin, we certainly
So, yeah.
appreciate your
So what have we-
insights
what
and
have
your
we
call
learned?
tonight.
what have we learned?
Oh,
Well, we've learned a lot about Kevin's dad. That's
Yeah.
we certainly learned a lot about that.
Yeah.
oh,
About the
Oh,
time
that's
his dad threw an answering machine at his head or something.
Well, what was that,
oh yeah.
Kevin?
Tune in next week.
We're gonna have to get some. You know what, Kev? You never sent us the information on that music all those years ago, and I was gonna say if you send us that music, we can put that music underneath when you do the Kevin's dad stories.
You know what? That would be priceless. Oh my God.
Can have his own theme song.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's got to be a wah-wah pedal in there somewhere.
Always, always.
It's 70s vibe.
Huh. Yeah, we gotta work on
hey.
some more sound effects, but
But yeah, always a pleasure talking to you guys, man. This is awesome.
likewise, Kevin. Thank you so much for the call tonight. We really appreciate it. I do hope you're going to call back again for another show.
Oh, count on it.
Uh-oh. Well, wait. Looks like CJ actually dug up some... There we go. We got some Kevin's
You're
dad
pretty
music.
good.
Oh, God.
You recognize that, huh?
Kevin's dad. I do.
All right, there you go.
So you got to send us some of that, Kev, so we can put that on in the background when we do the next Kevin's dad segment.
All right, that's enough.
Careful what you wish for.
Stories of Kevin's dad on Around Midnight.
All right, folks.
All right, Kevin, thanks again for the call. You have a great night.
Hey, you guys too. Have a good one.
All right.
And just for your information, the doctor I was talking about earlier is Dr. Jordan B. Peterson.
I love that guy.
And yeah, he was talking a lot about
Oh.
a book he wrote called The 12 Rules for Life, an Antidote to Chaos.
Now, Doctor, everything's going to be all right?
No, he is definitely not that guy. He is definitely not that guy.
I mean, he's Canadian, so he's pretty nice.
Yeah, he's...
Hey.
Yeah, you gotta... He's had some... He has pushed a conversation that needs to happen. I'll just leave it at that. Look him up.
All right.
Look him up.
Well, let's see.
Yeah,
we
he
gotta...
seems like a really cool guy. Really
He's
smart.
pissed off a lot of people, man.
Yeah, it's...
We'll have to talk about
and
that
that's
one
some of
another
the stuff
time.
he was talking about.
His problem was he made sense.
commenting on racial things that he wasn't a part of that racial, statistic
Yeah.
or group, and all of a sudden he can't comment. This person can't comment on. Anyway.
All right. Well, we gotta take another break, and then we're gonna be back. This is Around Midnight with the local boys: Joe Carbonetta, Todd Fluker, Chevelle Devine. You can check out Mixified Media Solutions at Mixified.com. You can reach Todd at Todd Fluker, Chevelle at Chevelle Devine, Joe at Joe Carbonetta, and again, you can call at 951-356-6882. We'll be back right after this. Around Midnight is a production of Mixified Media Solutions. Mixified is a full-service multimedia production company. From boardroom to broadcast, whatever your production needs, Mixified is your solution. Go to Mixified.com, that's MIXAFIED, or call 951-356-6882. Mixified Media Solutions.